Okay, good. Welcome everybody to Eve Speaks with Clear Cut Direction. I'm Leah Oglesby. I'm talking with Angela. She created this platform, Eve Speaks. Come grow with me. And we were just
Yeah.
speaking and talking, and we really want to help people get in tune with a way to improve their life, no matter what it may be, whether it be diet,
Mhm.
business, making money, relationships, just showing that there's ways to learn. So tonight's topic is everything is difficult until it gets easy.
Mhm.
And we're just going to be talking about the different stages in life in general, where that is so true. If you are commenting as we are talking, Angela will be able to see the comments. I can't tonight, but because technology is a wonderful thing sometimes. But I just wanted to start by asking Angela,
Mhm.
what do you think was the first thing that you ever experienced where you had to do something and you're just like, no, I can't. I just can't. That's just something I can't do.
I well, there's so many things like that actually. But the thing that comes to mind first is owning a business. I mean, I was working for 15 years in technology space, and when I asked my boss, I went into my okay. The day came because I've been back and forth just trying to from one company to the next, and the day came when I asked my most recent boss at the time for a raise, because I was the only salesperson there bringing in the revenues. A small company, some bunch of geeks just doing the engineering thing, and then there was me. Um, and so I've been there for 3 years already, and a lot of revenues was coming in. I don't want to bloviate, but it was pretty good money. And at the time, I was dating my then boyfriend, and he came to my office and he was like, "Well, how much are you making from this revenue run?" Because he would look at my board. I had all the numbers up on the board, and I was like, "Well, few thousand here and there." And he just couldn't grasp it. For him, it was just like, "You don't need these people." But in my mind, I was like, "Of course I need them. I mean, these are engineers, and I just don't know how to do this." To me, it seemed like an insurmountable mountain, because in his mind, you can totally do this. All you need is a phone and a computer.
Mhm.
Because he was coming from Wall Street, and that's how they operate. He was a broker. And so when he told me that, he kept saying this for a few years, and I kept saying, "No, I can't do that. I'm just a people person. I just like to talk to people." So I totally couldn't get the vision of being a business owner until the day I walked into my boss's office, or maybe he was at my desk actually. Yes. And I said, I would like a raise. Can I have a raise? Because the paycheck is not enough. And he looked at me and goes, "Angela, if you're in India, we would pay you $30,000 as a cold caller and send you on home." But that was a wake-up call for me, because it made me realize that, wait a minute, nobody has a vision for my life. But
Right.
I was still terrified to start the business. But I did quit. I had to. So today,
Jim Rohn says, have a goal for your life, because if you don't have goals, you'll end up living for someone else's goals, is like helping them accomplish their goals.
that's exactly it.
Pardon me when I quote people, it's kind of like the Reader's Digest condensed version of every quote. I'm never right on the money.
Who was it that said that?
Jim Rohn.
Oh, yes, I love him.
Yeah, he's
Yes.
he's one of the first. So with me, I have my main anxiety is doing anything for the first time. So in my head, I plan how it's supposed to be, and then I can like really freak out. And that's just a pattern for my life. I can literally remember the first day of kindergarten. It's the first day of kindergarten, and the bus was coming, and plan. And then I turned around to tell my mom, like, oh, it's gonna come soon. And just then it went by my house and it didn't stop. And I was like, you're 5, you're 5 years old in kindergarten. I'm like, ah! It's like,
Right.
so And my dad's like, no worries. And he drove me to school. But, you know, in your head,
Uh-huh.
this is, you don't know what you're hitting. And in every situation in life, starting out as a baby, the first thing that's difficult is communication. You got to be able to tell your parent what you want. And it's like, and how, you know, a little bit older, how to use a spoon. Like if you look at all the things you know how to do now,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be, you know, cold calling for
I do a lot of calling. You know, the funny thing is that we have this strange concept that things are supposed to be easy. I don't know why we think this, because we don't start off with anything being easy. I still don't even know how to ride a bike because I find it so awkward and so difficult. But when I apply that same concept to even with my business that I have now for 13 years, the one that I was so afraid to start, I realized that if I didn't start, if I didn't take the risk, I wouldn't
right.
be able to work from home and not worry about retirement, because I was willing to take the chance, even though I was terrified. But the idea that something is going to be easy, I don't know how is it that we get ourselves so brainwashed into thinking that it's supposed to be easy? Every day now I make cold calls. Cold calling is a major part of my business.
And any sales, it's like you're not going to get customers. They don't just come walking through your door.
Yes.
But I'm glad that you even said riding a bicycle. I want to ask you a question.
Uh-huh.
Is that something you want to do? Do you want to ride a bicycle?
Well, you know, I thought I did, but the older I get, I'm like, if I break something, it may not come back. And I tried a couple of summers ago, and I was like, if I fall off this thing, I'm just never gonna, you know, get back to my normal figure, because it's serious now. But I'm gonna try again this summer. It's part of the plan to try again this summer. But the whole balancing act, you know.
I know it's because you have kids, and sometimes we can look at, like, my oldest daughter, she's 13, but she didn't learn how to ride a bicycle till the 4th grade, which is considerably older than most kids. And we moved into an apartment complex, and all the kids in the apartment complex were riding their bikes around. And she'd had a bike for like 3 years, and she just said she couldn't do it. And I just simply told her, I was like, okay, here's a YouTube video. Like, everything's on YouTube now. Right. And it said it gave her kind of a step by step. And that is applicable to anything.
Right.
If you can just take the first step. And I told her, I said, if you just sit on your bike every day for 10 minutes, and you don't even have to put your foot on the pedals, you can just push yourself around when no one's looking. And you can just be outside, like you don't want to ride your bike, but you're on your bike. 3 days later, she was riding her bike. Same thing happened with my 10-year-old. Last year, she couldn't ride a bike, but everybody was riding a bike outside in our neighborhood. And she had tried several times and just quit and tantrum and crazy, you know.
Right.
It was difficult. It was difficult. And I said, the whole secret about riding a bike is just doing it every day until you feel the balance even out.
But what I find that is that you constantly, for myself anyway, I constantly have to be renewing my mind to remember that things are hard before they're easy. Because even now, even though I've made such progress in my business and even starting this platform, it's challenging, because I'm thinking, this is work, as it is supposed to be easy. But I constantly have to remind myself, remember when you started other business? That was very hard. So it's a constant renewing of the mind. And I think that's where the secret sauce is, being able to get my head right so that I can think right about starting something or doing something new.
And the patience. I think it's really important to have the patience with yourself. Like, how many years ago did you start your IT business?
13 years.
13 years. Yes. How many years ago did you start Eve Speaks?
Last year.
Exactly. Can you imagine the people you're going to help, and the hearts you're going to touch, and the safe place that women and men can both go to with Eve Speaks, not this year, but next year and the year after that, and just all the different opportunities. And not everybody who's listening has followed
Uh-huh.
Angela from day one, like I have. But I've known Angela for over 20 years, and share the story about you being asked to speak.
Oh gosh. That story is so the reason why I launched eSpeaks is because in 2016 I was, as part of my IT business, I had to give a presentation to a room full of entrepreneurs. And I thought, I had this thing. Well, I didn't think I had it down, but I didn't think what happened was going to happen. So I get up in front of there, the clicker in hand, the whole PowerPoint things, the pictures, the digital, characters or whatever. I mean, I'm ready to go and people are waiting. And I start talking. And the room just started to recede from me. The anxiety just started to boil into my stomach, and I couldn't stop it. And before I know it, I was blacking out and I lost control. I started stumbling. And the last thing I remember were people rushing over to me to hold me up. And then then it happened, then I thought I got my balance, and then it started happening again. And then they insisted that I just sit down. And then when I came to my senses, there was a nurse in the room. She said the director of the program asked, "Should we call the ambulance?" And then she told her, "It's just anxiety." The nurse told her, "It's just anxiety." And that experience is what really propelled me into saying, you know what, I've got to master this. And I expect it to be hard, which is why but it was just such a shifting experience to be out.
Your attitude could have been, I'm never doing that again. Thank you. I'm very comfortable in my home, making my cold calls, getting my clients, managing my people to grow this company. And you could be all perfect on the media with a photo.
Yes.
It's like, I take pictures, and it's like, I've had some crazy, crazy, terrible, terrible weekends where I had my camera and I made everybody smile, and I picked and choose appropriate fun times, and I would catch them off guard. And then even though I came home knowing I had a horrible time, when I developed the photos, I'm all happy because they look awesome. We look like we were laughing, we were having fun. But your determination was like, I'm going to conquer, like more than conquerors. We always like, I'm more than a conqueror. And Angela and I are very faith-based. We definitely believe the scriptures, but we really believe that we can do anything. We set our minds to, our faith to, we set our goals to, and it doesn't need to be in 3 months. It doesn't need to be in 3 years. It needs to be just a constant growth.
Right. That I'm committed to the process of growing. And I think that's one of the reasons why people give up, because and I'm tempted to do this same thing, by the way, is to look at what the results should be instead of enjoying the journey of growth. And I find that to be quite fulfilling, actually. But at the same time, you do get tempted to be like, oh, because with my business, sometimes, even now, I mean, the interesting thing is I started my business and I grew. At first, it was very tough. Then I grew. And then it got hard again. In 2008, the market tanked. I mean, I had no clients, no revenue. The counselor told me, why don't you just stay home with the baby?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
I had a counselor for New York City to counsel small business. And he said to me, your husband has a good job. Just stay home with the baby.
Oh my gosh. How did that make you feel? How did that make you feel?
Oh my gosh. At the time, it was discouraging. It really was. It made me feel like, my God, he doesn't believe, and he's a counselor. He doesn't think I can do it. But I left there and decided to keep going. And look, today, my business is 7 figures. And I think back often to this counselor. And my husband is like, he's probably dead by now. But it's not funny. He does say that now. He's like, he's probably dead by now. But I often think back to that counselor. I'm like, what if I had listened to that? So now when I go through the ups and downs in my business, I always remember that I used to be at that place where it was dark, dull, dim, and dark. Like, I mean, if you 2008, I mean, it was bad. So yeah, I keep that in mind now, and it really helps because of where I've come from. That it really has to be hard first before it
Yeah.
can be easy.
And sometimes the difficult times, I'm getting some feedback, so I'm not quite sure what's going on. But sometimes the difficult times aren't from what you're doing, they're from the outside voices, not necessarily the inside voices saying you can't do it, but the outside voices who've made a judgment of
Mm-hmm.
like a worldly acceptance of what's the norm, you know. And women really do have to struggle, but not just women, it's like everybody has their thing
Mm-hmm.
where people look at them and they make a judgment. And
Right.
it's like you probably with the public speaking, you went in, you looked at everybody, everybody had achieved what they were there for, they had a high education, they were making money, and you know, and you were the one invited to speak. And I was like, that's something, but like the
It was serious. The palpitations were serious, I'm telling you.
but I think it's very common for a woman to be told to stay with the kids. I'm very lucky and I made the decision to create the jobs that I take so that I can be home with the kids. My kids have never gone to a daycare, but I respect the women who, you know, choose the career that takes them away. And it's like women love their kids. They love their kids. Everything is difficult, whether it's leaving for work or staying home with the kids. Both are difficult.
For their
They're easy.
yeah.
Being the mom of two toddlers is difficult until they're both out of diapers, and then you're like, "Hey, this is pretty easy." You know, it's like
Yeah.
being,
That whole parenting thing is serious. My 5-year-old, she for the first couple of years in school she was a riot. She was biting the teacher. I mean,
oh my gosh,
and she'd come home and say, "Mommy, I bite Miss Quinn." And she would show me that she did. And I was like, what am I gonna do? I don't know how to parent. It was like over my head. And then I realized I just had to learn, and still am learning so much, that parenting is a matter of the heart. And as I read the books and applied the concepts, the easier it's becoming. Now,
yeah.
I haven't arrived yet, of course, because she's only 5. But
You read the books and you put it into practice. You try, and not every solution is going to be the solution for your family.
right. So tell me about you, Leah, because you have 2 teenage, like one is teenage and one is a tween. How did you navigate up to this point? Because that's kind of like a major achievement.
Well, the thing is, I really do try to stay in the now because it's like one day can be awesome, and you know, both my girls are straight A students, and you know, but both have different days with different moods, and think I do think parents need to be really careful about putting their children's business out on the internet. Is like whenever I share about my children, I'm pretty vague
Mm-hmm.
about it. I try to share their victories more than their, you know, roadblocks. But you know, they're there. But the thing is like I always stay grounded in the fact that I have unconditional love. And I did tell my youngest today. I said, always tell me the truth. She has strep and ear infection,
Mm-hmm.
and or swimmer's ear it was, and she asked the doctor if she could get a pill instead of a liquid because the liquid tastes bad. And I said, "Can you swallow a pill?" And she said, "Yes," and she can.
Uh-huh.
So then, for the ear pain, she asked if she could take a Motrin, and I said, "You can take one."
Mm-hmm.
And when I was help cleaning her room, I found some Motrin in her glasses case. And I said, okay, like the fact that you can take a pill, you can only take when I say.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, the biggest part about this that worries me is it's a secret.
Mm.
And it's like you chose to have a secret, just like food would be a secret if it's hidden under your bed.
Right.
And I said, it's all very tempting, but no matter what goes on in the next 8 years of our life, she's 10, you know, the not having a secret
Right.
is going to be, I said, I can deal with any mess up, any misbehavior any life choice that she may want to make, but I can't be there to help her if there's a secret because I won't know about it. And
Mm,
something can go desperately wrong. Like if she doesn't know. So, you know, that's what I don't say, oh, you should never, you know, take these pills. You know, you can't react. You have to tell them the why of everything. And her response was to come and give me a hug and say she was sorry. You know, she didn't take it as she'd done something wrong because I didn't treat it like she'd done something wrong. I treated it as for the future, this is going to open up the communication between us. If we just choose not to have secrets, knowing that I'm going to be okay with anything as long as you're honest.
mm. So you find that knowing the why behind things could help you to navigate the hard. I
Yeah,
think.
and I'm a full believer in only treating the person that you're dealing with. It's like my oldest is not my youngest, and my youngest is not my oldest, and never the two should be compared because they're already going to struggle with comparing themselves to each other. It's
Right.
a natural process. I try to treat them very much individual. I try to explain to my oldest that the youngest is 3 years younger than her and she's
Mm-hmm.
going to be thinking differently about things and that she used to be there. And even if she doesn't remember, let's watch some videos to prove that she was, you know, kind of thing.
Jog your memory.
But
Yeah.
we're coming up on the nine. My clock says 9:22, and so we do need to wrap up. But how can people get in touch with you? What can they do to work with you?
Oh, certainly. So Eve Speaks, you can reach me on my page. Just reach me there, inbox me, and or you can click the link that you will probably roll across the screen. We have a coaching program which is free for a certain period of time where you can just kind of get on a path to growth, because a lot of it is that we have to be deliberate, I find for myself, about growth. And so unless I get on something intentional to kind of, nurture that, then my growth is left up to chance. And me understanding that things are hard before they're easy, definitely I think I had to grow into to be able to have a business, to be able to um, have children. I even thought I could be a mother. I just think it was to be able to overcome anxiety, because anxiety is was a major struggle of mine, and the anxiety disorder. So I just want to encourage you, if that's something that you would like to do, get on a path to growth, then certainly reach me on the page, Eve Speaks, and or you can reach out to my group, Peace Beyond the Splinter. The book I wrote is called Peace Beyond the Splinter. Reclaim your promise of peace and profit from
That's
anxiety
right.
through
That's right.
and that's really my story, overcoming anxiety. And Leah, I'm just so happy that I get to do these things with you, because you
And these
sort of
are
are working on yourself as well, because we know that things definitely are hard before they're easy.
And for those of you listening, if you want help with your own, just what I said about not having anything be a secret, and nothing is like too big that it can't be conquered, you can reach me at Leah, at clearcutdirection.com, or you can go onto my page, clearcutdirection.com, and read the different workshops that I do. And I'm available for schools. Right now, I'm working on creating a workshop for the mentality of a middle school, mentality of a middle schooler, and before they enter into middle school, doing a little workshop to help the anxieties and the worries and the fears that come with that. So hopefully that will be out in August.
And Patrick Benedictor, thank you for joining us. Hopefully we'll be able to talk further online. And thank you, Leah, again. And we'll be in touch next time. And please continue to be relentless about becoming the next best version of you.
That's right.
Have a good day. All right, bye-bye.